Professor B. Barthakur, Principal of the Northeast Regional Institute of Education, to escort Professor Malavika Kapoor and Professor David Reitz-Aimley to the dais, please. I also invite Professor S.C. Roy and Professor B.R. Dakar to join the dais, please. No one can challenge the fact that we all perform best when we are in our proper mind and spirit. Such a thing, though, is becoming a rarity in the present day and age. Life is no more tranquil and blissful because things that may have been, as those looking after children in this century, we may say that the joy of childhood is slowly being taken away. The same joy and excitement, Bangalore, who is gracing the function as the chief guest and keynote speaker. Our very own Professor David Aimley, on behalf of the Northeast Regional Institute of Education, I welcome our most esteemed guests. We will now have the lighting of the lamp.
त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
Light disperses darkness. I call upon Professor B. Barthakur to felicitate our esteemed guests. We will now have the inaugural address by our principal, Professor B. Barthakur.
Guest of honor, Professor David R., Dean of Instruction of this institute, all staff of this NERIE as well as outsourcing staff, and all participants coming from different parts of India for this national conference. On behalf of NERIE-NCERT, I welcome all of you.
Esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Malavika Kapoor, the Guest of Honor, Professor Simle, the Principal of this Institute, Professor Barthakur, my colleague, Dr. Malavika Dakar, the Coordinator of the program, Dr. Prachi, and delegates coming from different parts of the country. In 1982, when it was thought that Northeast should have a separate constituent unit of NCERT to cater its varied and different kinds of needs. Later on, different committees were constituted to draw a blueprint of this institute. NERIE is one of them. The catchment area of NERIE is all 8 states of northeastern region. In proper coordination and cooperation, and I think we will achieve our targeted future. So this is all about the NERIE. Thank you.
Present here and welcome to the National Seminar on Mental Health of School Children. So student well-being is an issue which is very close to my heart. It is very upsetting to see very, very young lives being unfulfilled or lost for sometimes the reasons are very trivial. You fail to understand why it happened. This seminar is an attempt to understand the issues related to the well-being of our school children. What we would like to do is bring up children who are at peace, not only with others but also with themselves. So I welcome all of you again, and let's hope we have 2 meaningful days of deliberations ahead. Thank you.
So, sir, we are very happy, we are very fortunate that you are here with us, and with these few words, I invite you to deliver your address.
Located earlier in the bustling center of the city, this invigorating environment for the Institute could see other educational and research organizations relocate or set up base at Umayam and its surroundings. I trust the participants of this will have a fruitful interaction and experience over the next 2 days. Several years ago, when I was controller of examinations at NEHU, and I have a voice loud enough because I've been a teacher for 40 years, I sent out a message to the government of Meghalaya of the urgency of electricity supply, particularly at in many disturbing ways. Happily today, as a result of policy direction, regulation and civil society intervention, differently abled children are finding their space with dignity. Many are able to meet the expectation of them in schools, largely attended by, could we say, normal children. The effect of this center, state, charitable and other specialized modes of providing education to the less fortunate should be sustained, that a young girl has been able to perform to the extent that she beat many other normal children in her studies and made it to the central services. The attention providing holistic education to the girl child has been a key feature of government. Long overdue, the facilities for their attendance of schools, provision for fee remission, scholarships, clean toilets, uniforms, safe transport to and from schools. In all this attention, there may be requirement for more to the boy child, as in certain areas of this region, and I'm particularly looking at our own Khasi and Jayanti Hills, where the attention to the boy child during the Mizo unrest of the 1960s has made reference to the plight of school children readjusting into new environments. In that uprising, what happened was large numbers of the people from the villages were moved from one place to another, and that relocation really set in much trauma with the children. Education for well-being should be made an essential part of school program, and this seminar seeks to address this important issue. Kublai.
Professor Malvika Kapoor is a visiting professor at National Institute of Advanced Studies, Indian Institute of Science Campus, Bangalore, and former professor and head of the Department of Clinical Psychology at the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. Now look forward to the keynote address on bridging the gap between child development, mental health and schools. So madam, the time is all yours.
Thank you. Sell something which I have with me, and all of you will know that what I am trying to sell. At the end of the presentation, if you know what I am trying to sell, I'll be most grateful. And having been with the children for a very, very long time, I have found that they are not in a good place. And of course, the inaugural address added to it how much of misery is created for them, deliberately, at times inadvertently. And the person who has lost out on this is the child who doesn't understand why these people want to be, him to be achieving so much. So there is so much difference in how the child perceives the world and we perceive the world. And basically the teaching profession in this country has how the child's temperament is. So in developmental psychology, we look at the trajectory of development from day one. But how do you study children? And a lot of people who deal with children, including teachers, and he had mentioned how difficult it was to deal with very small children and you don't understand what is happening. So we need to have the methods of studying children. First, the earliest ones were baby biographies. People, Socrates, Darwin, Piaget's example you can quote, where he describes his 3 children. What do you think of this? They have so different, so creative, such imaginative response. Always ask a child. Are tracking children, same children, across years. There are several research, very interesting research where you track these children. A day old, mother makes a face, the baby makes the face. Trainer wheels and take a bit longer. So it doesn't matter because once you allow the child, don't compare him to others, but allow him to learn them at his own pace. Then development delays and disorders in speech and language. Some babies by 9 months are able to say words. Some babies at 2, no. There are children at 5 who are not able to speak. But never ever make fun of children who stammer. In the classroom, if there is a stammerer, don't avoid him. You will say that I am going to talk to you, I am going to ask you a question, but I will give you a little more time. Then he has also learning difficulties, learning other things also, not only language. And maybe he had earlier speech delay, the hyperactive children. And constant problems with teachers and other children. This one child can disrupt the entire class, not letting anybody study. So one needs to learn how to handle these children because they don't recognize that it is a developmental issue which has been there for a long time and we need to attend to it differently. Please remember, all children show poor academic performance which is not specific learning disorders. 100% of the schools in India can follow this method. Even if the teacher is not that, we can give them quality education, and this is where I end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for taking us through the process of child development. Now, formally, we will end with a vote of thanks. And at this point, I request my colleague, Professor Balayada Dakar, to propose the vote of thanks.
Everyone, esteemed chief guest and keynote address speaker, Professor Malavika Kapoor, National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bengaluru, respected guest of honor, Professor David Imle, former chairperson UPSC. So once again, a big thank you to one and all. Thank you.
We will end with the national anthem. Janagana mana adinayak jaya he Bharat bhagya vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utchala Banga Vindhya Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladi Taranga तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
Jaya 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 He